To call this week's episode of My Hero Academia a solid episode would be really underselling it. I actually think this might be my favorite episode of My Hero Academia, period. Not just with this season, but I think out of all the seasons, this is my favorite episode, but also my favorite fight. This episode did everything that an episode really should to this caliber. At the end of the day, this fight is the least important, but also the most important fight between Deku as well as kind of Bakugo's overall experiences with battles for serious situations or just training sequences. What All Might says that near the end of the episode is one of, I think, the best way to describe their relationship, because I think many like myself would have looked at their relationship as a rivalry for a long time. That's what they were. Really, at the end of the day, they weren't true rivals until the end of this episode. Before, it was really just Deku chasing Bakugo's strength, wanting to achieve what he has, whereas Bakugo was always scared of just Deku's heart in wanting to catch up with him when he had nothing for so long. And I think that's truly what their relationship was until now, which is an actual rivalry. They actually can kind of talk about things, talk about their abilities, what they did right, what they did wrong, but also still bicker like they always did, and that's so damn great. This episode did what a fight should. Fight shouldn't just be flashy animation or just pretty drawings. They shouldn't just have well-timed moves to make a good choreographed fight. There has to be emotion. If you have that emotional level behind it, a reason to care why this character is punching the other, why this character is attacking the other, then the fight becomes something more. It has a story, there's a narrative to this. And Bakugo has a true reason to fight Deku here. This guy is beyond broken. For all his life, he's never understood why is this kid, someone who has no strength, who is nothing compared to me, why does he constantly chase after me? No matter how much I push him down, how much I beat his face in, he still carries on. It was this annoyance that he couldn't get rid of, and then somehow this annoyance, the thing that he always tried to push away, was granted the ability from the one that they admired the most. And the one that they admired the most gave him his power, trusted him to that degree, whereas for him, he's the reason his idol had to retire and reveal his secret to the world because he was weak and he had to get rescued because he got kidnapped. Obviously, we know Bakugo's not weak, but we understand why he's blaming himself. So this fight, it makes total sense, and that's why Deku goes along with it. There's a narrative there. You actually feel something. You're like, okay, there's a reason. This isn't just Bakugo being hot-tempered, being pissed off like he is. No, there's a reason for him to be disappointed in himself and question, why is it that the kid who always chased after me is now seemingly going to become stronger than me and was granted this ultimate trust between the one that I always looked up to? Why wasn't I given this ability? Obviously I'm weak, obviously I need a helping hand if I got captured, and someone like Deku would have to come and rescue me, or at least attempt to. Like, there's something there, there's a narrative. So when you're seeing that beautiful animation, the detailed fight sequences between the punches and the kicks, there's something there, there's a story. It's not just like your eyes are glued to the screen because of pretty animation. Sure, there's going to be those people who are just in it for that, but the reason this fight actually excels is because of the narrative behind it. The way these characters were kind of coming to understand one another's feelings was absolutely fantastic. This is why it's my favorite fight, because we've come to know these characters for 3 seasons now. We know their ups and downs, their highest and their lowest points. So this is why, for me personally, it's like, I really feel like this is the first time they truly fought as equals. And you could see Deku nearly won this fight. He almost won it, but he's still not quite Bakugo's level. But it was nice to see just how kind of his powers are evolving. Like, sure, it's more or less kind of kicks now, but when you actually do see Deku throw a 5% punch, it was really nice to see. Not to mention, his legs actually go up to 8%, it's mentioned in this episode, because it's not that drastic of a shift, and he has gotten stronger without realizing it. Like, there's just these little moments in the fight that you're like, wow, our boy's really grown up throughout this season. Like, this was incredible. Bakugo, I think his voice actor stole the show 100%. This was, I think, his best episode in terms of acting. Deku has had a lot of, like, moments that have really been like, wow, that's stellar voice acting. But Bakugo hasn't had as many because he hasn't had as many scenes where he was in such emotional pain like this one. And how he was trembling, you could tell, like, even before he was explaining why he wanted to fight Deku, like, you kind of understood. You could hear the pain in his voice. There was such this subtle detail of emotion that a lot of voice actors don't go to, or just at least can't achieve, and Bakugo's VA was just absolutely incredible. Of course, Deku's was great as well, but still, like, Bakugo's voice actor, absolutely incredible. That animation talent, like, this felt real. You felt those punches. there was so much detail to the animation, but it's that narrative that really sold it. And I have to say, after the credits there, when you see just Deku as well as Bakugo kind of cleaning up the dorm room there, and Deku's just asking for opinions about the fight, that was cute. That was really cute. It was nice to see that, even though I feel like they're always going to have this kind of like bickery, like they're always going to argue with one another, they're always going to insult one another, but it feels like at the end of the day, they are going to be able to talk to one another about what they did right or wrong in a battle. And that's awesome. Not to mention Eraserhead just punishing them for being dumbasses, but at the same time, kind of being like, I get where you're coming from. That was a nice touch. Like, this season of My Hero Academia has been really, really great. This episode was phenomenal. This was like narrative, animation, voice acting, soundtrack, everything you would want out of an episode was here. At the end of the day, this fight was the least important and most important we've seen in a long time, but this was needed for Baku to really kind of understand what's going on, and the idea of him like keeping this a secret. He won't tell anyone, and then, you know, All Might saying like, I should be on my knees like begging for you to not reveal the secret. He rolls with it, right? Like, there's so many moments where you're seeing Bakugo in a completely different state, a weak state, where you could really look at him and say, wow, he actually feels vulnerable, something we rarely see with Bakugo. But at the end of the day, building up to this is why it was so moving, because we've never really seen Bakugo at this state. This was his lowest state, but he came out so much stronger because of this, and I can't wait to see the next time they do fight, when they actually do have a full-on brawl, what it's going to look like when it's not Bakugo weak and depressed and vulnerable, when it's just two rivals going at it trying to surpass the other. That's going to be really damn incredible. This was a great episode. Seriously, everything I would want out of this episode, it achieved. Let me know what you're feeling. Manga readers, anime originals, what the hell did you think of this amazing episode? Let me know down in that comment section below. Remember to like the video if you did enjoy, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new. But until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.